Everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's Tournament Game 7, where we are playing Helheim. This is turn 57. Let's jump into... So, another turn of peace. Cool. We have completed Blood Magic Research 7. Fantastic. That gives us access to Archdevils, as well as a couple of other things, including the Dosian, Father Ill-Earth. So that's cool. Then we're running up Evocation 5. We've cast a bunch of different site search spells and some rituals, so let's see how those go. Harvespex has found a Farm of Plenty. Farm of Plenty is just 50 supply points, so that's a big boo. But it is whatever. It is. And then, Calum has put up Well of Misery. So that is... oof. That's a big deal. So that lets us know that they are, what is that? That's Conjuration 8, right? That's pretty far into things. And that's a hop, skip, and a jump away from Conjuration 9, if they want to go that route, and Tartarians, which would be a nightmare to deal with. So, that's... Of course, right, Tartarians are going to come out with a bunch of ailments, and I don't know that Calum is prepared for that, but we could see them put up something like Gift of Health in the very near future. We need to keep our eyes peeled for that type of stuff. And even if it's just Well of Misery, right, they don't have to go Tarts, they can go Liches, they can go Wraith Lords, they can just have a shit ton of Death Gems and forge a shit ton of Death Gear, which is pretty good, right? There's plenty of things that they can do with it. Plus, while it is very nice that we get the 10% bonus income from Well of Misery, as does everyone in the game, Calum has more land than us, which means more benefit from that 10% income, which will outstrip us further and further. This is an issue. Next up, we have Bowl of Blood, found nothing. Arcane Probing, found a painted cave right here. +1 Astral Pearl, nice. Harvespex, nothing. Dark Knowledge, nothing. Bowl of Blood, nothing. Corpseman Construction, Voice of Apsu, nothing. Auspex found a Copper Idol, a Canyon of Wild Winds, and a Sky Split Oak, all in one fucking go. Holy shit. Forest of Long Nights just suddenly became quite valuable. 1 Air Gem for the Copper Idol, 2 Air Gems from the Canyon of Wild Winds, and 1 from the Sky Split Oak. 4 Air Gems in a turn. A big deal. Big deal, big deal. Corpseman Construction, some Naiad Warriors. We'll take a look at them here in just a second. Bowl of Blood, found nothing. Corpseman Construction, Gnome Lore, Bowl of Blood, Augury, Dark Knowledge, Reanimation, Bowl of Blood, nothing. And then we're to our Blood Hunting. The Blood Hunting netted us about where we're wanting to be, right? Around 100-ish. So that's pretty good. Had a couple of unexpected events. +5 province income in Laria, and minus population and rest in there. We have completed the construction of the palisades in Zimria. We've done a bunch of patrolling. Let's talk about general scenarios. Tirnanog has ended our non-aggression pact this turn. Okay, so that's a concern, right? Tirnanog is a strong player. They definitely know what they're doing. They are currently at war with Hinam and Abyssia, but to my understanding, Tirnanog has a great grasp. The player has a great grasp of what their limitations are. So I feel like them declare or ending our nap, right, is basically them saying we feel confident in where we're at right now, dealing with those other two. So I don't know if, you know, that means he's made peace with Abyssia. Maybe that's happened. Although Abyssia didn't seem to be the type of person to make peace at this point. They seem to be the type of person to be like, yeah, well, fucking kill me, you know? Or I'll go down fighting, you know, that type of scenario. But I could be wrong. It's possible that they've made peace. I doubt that there's peace been made between them and Hinnom, but Hinnom doesn't have much left. They're just struggle bussing. And I don't really know what's happening with Calum. I have conversed with Calum. I have a sneaking suspicion that Calum might actually attack me when Tirnanog attacks me. I don't know that that's going to happen, but some of the... One, it's probably just paranoia. Two, some of the conversations I've had with Calum kind of indicate, again, I have this feeling that Calum is... Obviously, we're all out to win, but Calum is looking for an opportunity to strike quickly and just all of a sudden win the game. So it's possible that they don't really care if Tirnanog fights me. The only thing is Tirnanog could win with Robberhome or Defaros. So we're kind of in a weird situation. And again, I kind of was thinking it might come to this scenario where we are probably not going to win. This game has kind of slipped through our fingers at this point. Calum and Tirnanog have both probably grown a little too strong for us to deal with. But now we're kind of playing spoiler, right? If we can resist Tirnanog, then Calum... even resist them effectively, then Calum will probably be able to waltz in and smash either one of us, right? And if we're not able to resist Tirnanog, then Tirnanog might win before Calum's able to really respond. So we are kind of in a spoiler position. So we're gonna have to see how that goes. So let us do our normal thing and talk about all of the stuff that is happening. We're going to go ahead and start up here in Robberhome because that's going to be a big focus, right? Obviously, Robberhome is going to be one of the places that we have to guard to make sure that Tirnanog doesn't take it from us and win. Fortunately, we have already kind of prepped for this scenario slightly. So we've got a fair number of forces in Robberhome. So, crossed. We are still patrolling here. Tirnanog has ended our nap. I do not think that they are going to break the nap, right? That they are going to attack us on the next turn or anything like that. So we should have this turn, turn 58, and turn 59 of peace. Turn 60 should be the first turn that an attack could be made. So we've got a few turns to kind of like prep for this. So part of what we're going to do is we are going to try to patrol the unrest here down in Robberhome so that we can potentially respond to things with recruitment, etc. What else are we doing? We are sending her 17 down to Gifa to pick up all of these Heirdmen. I don't know why we didn't just bring him with us last time when we brought him up. That was kind of a dumb move. And that's mostly all that's happening in Robberhome. In Sarmatia, we are sending the forces of Sarmatia under Sigurdriva. All of these forces that have been here and patrolling, we are sending up to Robberhome. This is going to leave Sarmatia kind of somewhat, undefended, but we're going to try to, over the course of the next few turns, send forces up in that direction. And we'll see how that goes, okay? Other things that we're doing in Sarmatia, we're continuing to cast Auspex. We're going to continue to do some of our site searching, although this is probably going to be the last turn that we go hot and heavy on it. So we're going to have Auspex this turn, continue to do corpse construction. We might actually pull one of these. Just immediately go to... we'll do that here for now. Stay with the corpse construction here in Sarmatia for now. I think we're going to have enough forces in Robberhome, at least initially, but, who knows. We're casting some Dark Knowledge. And then we're doing, you can see we're still doing a whole bunch of Bowl of Blood casting and some Reanimation casting. But then you can also see we're doing some Star of Thraldom forging. So Star of Thraldom, shit, I put that on someone. Steal it off of this person. No reason for him to have it yet. So Star of Thraldom, let's talk about this item and why I am making it. So first up, I'm making it because it's very cheap for me to make. It is a, it's a high tier weapon. If we take a look at it, it is from it is a very powerful magic item, the tier. So that's a construction 6 item. Okay. It is cheap to make with a hammer. It only costs 3 air gems, considering our air income is now 16. We can make a couple of these a turn without really hurting. It hits relatively hard. Okay. Does 10 base magic damage. And then you have the an individual's strength added to it. So, for example, Sigurjiva has 11 strength. Put Star of Thraldom on there, and it's 21 damage. So that hits relatively hard. Obviously, if you have good strength, if you have upwards of 20 strength, then that thing hits like a truck. Pretty nice. Okay. It's got, and this is why it's super important. This is the two reasons why it's super important. It has very high attack value. It has a 6 to attack. And that is pretty good when you take a look at other weapons. Frostblade has an attack of 1. This Baneblade has an attack of 1. Flesh Eater has an attack of 4, right? That's a Scepter. Demon Whip has an attack of 4, etc. Right? So an attack of 6 is pretty damn good. And it is a +2 attack if the target has a shield. So +8 attack. You combine that with something like a Ring of the Warrior, which is +5 attack, and then all of a sudden you can have a Jarl who has an attack skill of 14 base be doing, what is that? +13, I think. So 27 attack on this Faron Jarl, for example, right? Let's check. So it would 25, right? But it doesn't show you the +2 versus the shield, so it would be a 27 versus a shield, right? That's pretty good. If we take a look, if we remember looking at Tir na Nog She-Lords, they're sitting around like 30, 31, 33 defense, right? So it's going to be difficult to hit them, but the Star of Thraldom gets in that vein. It gets close to being able to hit them. It lessens the gap drastically. And then you know they're not a She-Lord is not especially sturdy per se, right? They don't have crazy high protection. They don't have crazy high health, right, or anything like that. So if they get hit, it hurts. It hurts a lot. So that's part of the goal there. If we can mass produce a bunch of Stars of Thraldom, we have a lot of units, Fan Jarls and things like that, that can do well against someone if they have a chance to hit them. Okay? So that's a potential route. The big secondary part of this is the extra effect False Fetters, right? So if we are able to get a hit off on something like a She-Lord, or just in general anything, right? The False Fetters will proc, and False Fetters is a magic resistance negates scenario that it basically just stun locks you. You cannot move and you cannot act while you are under the effect of False Fetters. It's basically an illusion that shackles you. So every turn, that you are under the effects of false fetters, you will make a magic resistance check to try to get out of it. And as soon as you do, great, it's gone, no harm, no foul. But if you have a handful of people beating on you with Stars of Thraldom, and each one is able to sneak in a hit here or there, and every once in a while the false fetters procs, it's basically just an extra little layer of trying to overpower someone's ability to just dodge tank, basically. So yeah, Star of Thraldom, that is an item that we are going for. I don't know if that's going to be like the best call in the long run. It might not be. We're just going to have to see how it goes. Okay? So that's what's happening up in Sarmatia. In Brightgate, we're just doing some site search casting, Bowl of Blood, and Haruspex. Again, probably going to be the last big turn that we do this. Definitely going to be the last big turn that we do a whole bunch of Bowl of Blood spam. We haven't gotten a single thing off of our Bowl of Blood, and that's kind of to be expected because the blood sites, as I've said, are significantly more rare than the other sites, but they're generally still pretty good, which is why we, in a time of peace, we wanted to look for them. But we're about to not be in a time of peace anymore, which means all of those blood slaves are very, very important to us, so we're probably about to stop. Continuing the fortress in Zimria. Over in Dopharos, we have one more month on our fortress here. So next turn, we should have a fortress in Dopharos, which is going to be very important for us. In Dead Forest, we're doing a whole bunch of different things. Let's take a look at our Kidnids. So this is what we got. 15 of these ladies from the Summon Naiad Warriors. They've got very basic hit points, 10 hit points. Decent protection, right? They have 0 natural protection, but they've got 15 protection because of their decent gear. If you put protection buffs on them, like if you put mass protection or something like this jumps up to 20 plus, and they're pretty damn good. Otherwise, they have kind of mediocre stats. Decent-ish defense, good magic resistance, okay morale. The important thing about these ladies is they have Awe 4. So Awe 4 plus their decent protection, plus the fact that they're size 2, you get 3 per, make them pretty good combatants, and they're very, very good at taking buffs. Right? You get things like mass protection or fog warriors or things like that up on them, and they are going to do a great, great, great job. Okay? So that's what we're doing there. We're doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Ring of Regenerations, Haruspex, Augury, Lightless Lanterns, Voice of Apsu. More Naiad Warriors. We're probably going to be doing some every turn for a while. That's probably going to be the force that's going to hold up in Dopharos and Dead Forest. More Voice of Apsu and Boots of the Messenger. We're also sending a Jade Sorceress up towards Robberhome. So we've got some Boots of Quickness on her, and she's basically heading up towards Robberhome to potentially be a buff caster up there, or to just summon Naiad Warriors up there, or whatever we need to do. We're trying to spread out some of our casters so that we have access to more paths in more locations. Okay? In Kohnberg, we're not really doing anything different than normal, continuing to put Lightless Lanterns on people, continuing to forge Owl Quills. We're making them Armor of Knights this turn. Over in Osens, literally nothing's happening, and in our 4 blood hunting locations, we are just full on blood hunting. Lots of these, we're probably going to kit out some of these when it gets closer to turn 60. We're gonna throw some items, probably some of our spare items, onto some of these individuals, so that they can help defend if he decides he wants to send a She-Lord in to, like, disrupt our blood hunting scenario, which is definitely possible, right? He's gonna find some Vanyarls that are there ready and equipped to do some stuff. In fact, we might do a couple of different things. One of the things we might do is we might put a couple of air gems. We might put an air gem on each of a Vanyarl in a province, so that if something shows up, like a She-Lord shows up, they go, the Thunderstrike. Because 5 people doing... You can have a lot of thunder resistance. You can have a lot of shock resistance. But 5 Thunderstrikes will still typically fuck you up. Because you typically don't have 25, 30, 40 shock resistance. You typically have like 15 shock resistance. Maybe more if your shock resistance... Like, for example, if you're using something like a Storm Spool... then you might have more shock resistance once you bless. But we're gonna have to see. So we have a couple of different options. We might do some of our spare gear. We might do some Stars of Thraldom mixed in with some of these Blood Hunters. We might do some air gems for things like Thunderstrike, etc., etc. We've got ideas. So we'll see how it goes. And then in Helheim, we've got some different stuff going on. We had stopped doing reanimation in Helheim because we were like, oh, we want to start saving up some death gems, maybe for something like Well of Misery or something else. That's gone at the moment, and we're about to be in war, so we need power. So we're back to reanimations. So we've got 2 reanimations going. We're forging more Stars of Thraldom here. I think we've got 2. Oh, we've only got 1. I could have sworn we were doing more than 2 Stars of Thraldom. Ah, yeah, we're doing 3. So we've got 2 here, and then we've got 1 in the capital. Right, so this will bring our total up to 4, and we're probably going to make a couple more over the next couple turns. Doing that, doing some gnome lore. Again, probably going to be our last turn. Maybe we'll continue some of our site searching, but it will probably be drastically less. We are moving a Svart up towards Robberholm, okay? So this turn's going to be in Zimria. We'll see how far he can make it. More corpse construction. We're doing some black steel helmets because we're trying to... we've got to balance our gems out. We've got a lot of water gems right now, but those are about to all go to Naiad Warriors and probably Boots of Quickness and things like that. So we've got to be careful using those. So we're turning towards Earth Gems. We're trying to use a bunch of our Nature Gems because we have a good pool of that. But Death is getting really low. We're basically out of Fire Gems now. And we'd love to use our Astral Pearls, but we don't have enough Astral People for things. So forging Black Steel Helmets is just a good way to add some combat effectiveness to different individuals by giving them a better helmet. Specifically, this is going to go towards things like Archdevils or Ice Devils or things. Maybe some Banyarls here or there, maybe some Hangadrots here or there. Big thing this turn, we are summoning Father Ill-Earth Pedosian, or we're going to try anyways. We have no idea if someone else has beaten us here. I have not seen anything to show. I haven't seen anyone... I haven't seen any signs of high blood summons like Ice Devils or Archdevils or Heliophagi or anything like that. So, hopefully, this is just fine and we're going to get ourselves a Father Ill-Earth, which is a very strong combatant. Very good, very high Earth caster as well, which will be potentially pretty cool. Could be very useful. So... fingers crossed that goes well, and we'll see how things turn out. After that, we're probably going to be doing Archdevils for a while, and then we'll see how things go. Doing some more Dark Knowledge. We're doing another Revived King, because we do need some... I actually, this Revived King probably isn't going to be dealing with this undead stuff. It's probably going to be moving over towards, like, Srim Claver or to Orman to start picking up spare undead, right? Orman, we will probably leave the undead there, but Srim, because it's a blood hunting site and we want power to be there in the blood hunting sites, we've got 129 units there. That's not impossible for a She-Lord to deal with at all, but it could wear them down, especially every time a ghoul hits, right? They can fatigue you. Very unlikely that they hit, but you know, it happens. But something like Srim Claver is kind of out in the open, and it doesn't have nearly as many units, so we want to start shipping those units into something like Defaros. So we'll probably have a a Mound King head over there, and then ferry units back and forth so that those units are useful in the location, but we're still summoning them. Okay? And then we're continuing to do arcane probing with Bifrons. Nikafor is heading up top, gonna head towards the robber home scenario. Now, obviously, we do have other locations that we have to protect from Tirnanog, but we want to make sure that robber home is one of our most defensible locations. And then Gop is making some Boots of Quickness, and we'll probably be making Boots of Quickness every turn. Not with all of our Ice Devils necessarily, but we'll probably be making Boots of Quickness every turn for a while. Boots of Quickness, less useful on the Ice Devils because the Ice Devils already have the ability to do that, but very, very useful on something like Archdevils. I think Pedosian can't use Boots, so no worries on that. And neither can our mounted units. So really we're looking to put those on Archdevils over the course of the next couple turns. So research wise, we are going to finish Evocation 5 this turn, which is going to give us access to Storm on all the fronts that we need them from. This is actually going to give us some other things too. Specifically, it's going to give us access to Earthquake. And Earthquake could potentially be very useful for us because it might be unexpected by Tirnanog. If we see something like a massive army of undead or something like that, Pedosian could very well be capable of doing something like an Earthquake trap for us and surviving, which would be really cool. Really, really, really cool. So, fingers crossed there. That could get us some actual extra oomph. Other than that, we're probably not going to have very much in the way of important things from level 5. Falling Frost could be somewhat useful if we decide we want to do that with our Ice Devils. Falling Frost, to my knowledge, Tirnanog doesn't have good frost resistance options. So it's possible that having a line of 4 or 5 Frostcasters starting off a battle by just doing 10, 15 Falling Frost, just boom, Falling Frost, boom, Falling Frost, boom, Falling Frost, could actually be pretty good, especially since so Falling Frost gets an increased area of effect for every level of the caster. So if we throw something like a Water Bracelet on our Water 3 Ice Devils, they'll go up to Water 4. We could actually make this hit harder and hit in a larger AoE, almost kind of in the vein of something like Gifts from Heaven, right? Now, obviously, Gifts from Heaven does way more damage, but Falling Frost does enough damage, potentially, that it could kill some people. So, we'll see how it goes. It's just an option. Orb Lightning's probably not going to be of much use, and things like Poison Mist or Healing Mist probably isn't much use. Shadow Blast is also a very strong spell that a lot of people overlook because it costs a death gem. But if we needed to, we could very easily just have 4 or 5 Hangodrots Shadow Blast the shit out of an enemy army. And at the end of the game, right, or when you get yourselves into these situations, you're looking for power at any location. And that's a power source. That's definitely a power source. But, so we're going to do Evocation 5, and then we're going to run up Alteration. We're not going to make it in time for our nap to be done. But we will, so the goal is making it to Alteration 7 for specifically Mass Protection. And for Fog Warriors, right? If we can get up to something like Fog Warriors, we can really buff up our Hell Herdings. Mass Protection will do a great job of that as well. It's just we're not going to get there in 3 turns, so we're going to have to play. We're going to have to play by ear, and once we get to Alteration 6, right, we're probably going to be at war with Tirnanog. We're going to have to see what he's capable of, because I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure that I'm assuming correctly, that he is ahead of us on research. I would assume that most of the players in the game are ahead of us on research because of the scales that we chose. So, that being said, we're going to have to look for opportunities and see if we can't stall into a scenario where we have a power spike and then use that power spike to best Tirnanog in certain situations. I do not want you to think, though, that we are going to be only defensive. Keep in mind, we still have a couple of Jarls around, right? With our old equipment setups. Jarl 28 sitting over here. Jarl 4, Jarl 17. We had Jarl 22. We just took the stuff off of him. We've got... And all of these Jarls casting Bowl of Blood, right? Like, we've got people that are ready and available to go do the raiding thing. But importantly, so does he. And he's probably going to, I would assume, since he's pulling the trigger on this, that he's already got people in position. That he is going to hit us, and hit us hard. Really quickly. So I would anticipate getting hit in almost every single province that we have to start with, which is gonna be difficult to do anything against. We're gonna have to be very focused on counter raiding, but we're gonna have to be smart about it, because I think he knows that his She-Lords are at a better point than my Van Jarls are, and if he decides to raid and hold, then we might just throw Jarls into death pits, basically. So we've got to watch out for that type of stuff. Okay. Anything else? No, I don't think so. I think that's about it. So we've got some excitement going. We're building towards some things. We'll see how the next few turns play out as we prepare for war against Tirnanog. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye, everybody. Wait. Who the fuck's that guy? Ah. Blood Hunt. Now we're done.